Hello everyone at ECPI University. Today I'm going to be presenting to you my personal branding training. Okay, my name is Ires Alliston. I'm the CEO of the Alliston Group. So in that regard, when it comes to personal branding, I'm going to show you what it means and how does that look like, as well as what do you need to know in order for you to attract your ideal employers, your future employers, as well as organizations and companies who might want to hire you in the future. So to maximize our time, I've actually created a presentation slides here in a minute that I'm going to be sharing with you. And I'm going to be going over my method, P.O.P, P-O-P-P, and briefly diving in on every single one of those acronyms and explaining to you what it means. Okay, so to maximize our time, let me go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully this works. All right, so hopefully you can see my screen. Let me go ahead and make that bigger. Oops. All right, so hopefully by now you should be able to see my slides in a bigger framework, right? So today I'm going to be going over with you professionally branded and 3 steps for career success. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be providing you my method. And for a few years now, actually, I have been training and coaching entrepreneurs and coaches and speakers and experts on how to brand themselves online. How does that look like even, right? But today I'm going to I actually have a condensed version of my presentation. It's called P.O.P, P-O-P-P, and it stands for positioning, right? Positioning your personal brand online, as well as your online presence. How does that look like even? Okay, and we're going to be briefly going over platforms out there, social media platforms. As you know, if you are active on social media, there's so many networks out there. But in this case, I'm going to be briefly diving in to LinkedIn. And again, my name is Ires Alliston, and I just want to briefly tell you who I am. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an international speaker and a certified coach, and I'm so passionate about advising top leaders and experts on how to build their personal brand platform online and grow their coaching business. I'm also a writer for Funnel Magazine, and I have been featured on Speakers Magazine. And these days, I basically work pretty much anywhere, right? As long as I have an internet connection and my laptop and my phone with me, I pretty much coach and work from anywhere. I'm also the CEO of the Alliston Group, and we work with startups and entrepreneurs with their brand and their marketing campaigns. As you can see here also, I've been featured on on other sites, media sites like ABC, Fox, and CBS, and so forth. So I just want to briefly tell you who I am so we can get going. All right, here it is. What is personal branding? For a lot of you, you might be thinking, okay, you know what, personal branding is hot, okay? It is so trending right now. And for some of you, you might be even thinking, what is it all about? Why is it so important for me to build my personal brand? Well, in this case, you know, your brand identifies the way you are, who you are, basically, the way you present or market yourself or skills and your work online, particularly online, is the very first thing that a lot of employers, let's say, a lot of people, right, the public, see you online before they even talk to you, before you even get on the phone with them, before you even handshake their hand. So call it as a virtual connection, virtual handshake before you even sit on, go to their let's say, company building and have that conversation, have that interview. So as you can see here, I have a graph for you. And personal branding is really, it's all about you. who you are, who you present, is the leader in you, is the professional person in you, and it all embodies the education, the experience, the stories, and the skills that you have to offer. And because of that, it helps you rise above the noise, let's say, because the market is very saturated right now. So you need to be able to make yourself unique and stand out from the crowd, okay? And it also shows how professional you are, especially when you start embarking in your professional career. So let's go ahead and dive deeper on my acronyms P.O.P. So the very first one is positioning, and I call this the ABC of PB. No, it's not peanut butter, it's personal branding. So the ABC of personal branding is this. You need to be authentic when it comes to building your brand online. And what I mean by authentic is just being real, it's just being who you are, right? In a professional way. So one of the ways that you can do that is write your professional bio. And as you know, for those of you who are actually active on social media, the Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and so forth, they have their own versions when it comes to writing your bio. And they also have, their versions of how many characters or how many spaces they give you. So for instance, for LinkedIn, you've got a little bit more room there because you can definitely tailor your bio according to who you are, what do you have to offer, and why people should be attracted to who you are and what you have to offer. So you need to be really have a clear understanding when it comes to your bio, and there's many ways to do that. You can definitely search this online, Google search the information, and it'll give you a better idea on how to craft or develop your bio. The second one of this is business leader. We want to be seen as that professional, as that leader, so we can market ourselves as a leader. And that way we come across to those potential clients, potential organizations and companies who want to hire us as the professional leader in that space, in that field, okay? And again, you can definitely search this online on how to do that, but I'm going to briefly tell you, a little bit more about how your professional image and headshots and all these other things that you need to know, right, when it comes to optimizing your LinkedIn and some of the social media profiles. The third one of this is consistency. This is how you're going to be discovered on social media, online basically. How are you, how is your brand, your personal brand aligning with the other social media platforms that you may have? You might be on LinkedIn, but you might also be on Facebook. Some of your employers might be on LinkedIn and some of your employers might be on Facebook. So we need to make sure that they're consistent across the board because you never know which social media platforms might be looking at that time, right? But I know a lot of employers, organizations, and companies definitely use LinkedIn, but you may never know which social media platforms they're actually looking at. They might be looking at many others out there. So we need to make sure that your personal brand is consistent throughout, meaning you have the same photo, headshots, current headshots, you have the same bio or information about who you are and what you have to offer. Now, with this one now, I'm also going to be giving you some action steps along the way. So in this regard, when building your authentic brand, right, one of the first things that a lot of people will see, especially those ideal, companies who want to hire you, well, you've got to have, like I said, you've got to have a really good bio. And on LinkedIn, you can definitely have, you can craft a bio using a headline space there. And I'll tell you about that in a little bit, or you can Google search this as well. But on LinkedIn as well as Facebook and then Twitter and other ones out there, you just have to have a good professional bio as well as a headshot, okay? And you can definitely have a professional headshot and upload it on these social media profiles that you may be using and make sure that it's professional, make sure it's current, and make sure that it has good lighting. That way, people can see you clearly and you're visible. Your brand is visible to your ideal employers who will be seeking you, okay, to hire you, potentially hire you in the future. And if you don't have a good camera, right, what you can do is just use your smartphones. If you have an Apple phone, if you have an Android phone, just go outside even, so you have good lighting and have a good background, maybe behind the trees or something like that, or even just a solid wall that has good lighting, and just have someone take a photo of you, which is from your chest up, and then go from there. It doesn't have to be fancy, but make sure that you're also presenting yourself professionally, having, have a good suit on or something like that, right? A good dress on and things like that. So as you can see here, I have a few examples. All right, the second one of P.O.P is online presence. As you know, I've been briefly mentioning about how does that look like and things like that online, your personal brand. Well, the very first thing when it comes to online presence is, your reputation, okay, your reputation. And I know the gentleman before this, he mentioned about this quote, and it's so funny because this is so true. If you would not want your grandma to see it, do not post it at all. Don't post it at all, because in the long run, that can actually potentially hurt you, your online presence, especially if there's a post out there or some pictures that might be conflicting, or it might not be of an ideal image for your potential clients, potential employers. It might hurt you in the long run. So make sure that you're always professional. Make sure that you're always coming across as that business leader, right? That ideal candidate, so they can hire you, because you never know when they look at your online presence. It could be, any time whatsoever, right? And nowadays it's so easy for us, as for anyone actually, to find our information online just by typing our names and clicking on these social media profiles, even websites and things like that, even YouTube videos that we may be associated in. So make sure that you are aware on what you're putting out there, okay? And that way you come across as that professional business leader, professional person that you are, and you have this awesome offer that they need to know so they can hire you, okay? So the action step with this one is pretty simple, pretty easy. It's about cleaning up your profiles. Okay, cleaning up your profiles, either archiving some of these photos, especially if you're using Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, deleting it and whatnot, and just cleaning it up. No fancy thing that you need to do. Just make sure you're cleaning it up along the way, and then that way that you are seen as the expert, as the leader, as the professional in your field. All right, so the last one is platforms, okay? And like I mentioned earlier, there are multiple platforms to choose from. We have Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, even our website, even a blog, if you have any of those. If you have a website, if you have a blog. And if you don't have one, actually, besides, putting your information on LinkedIn or other social media profiles, I'm going to be giving you a resource where you can upload, where you can actually just put in your information, website. So about that me, and it's going to be on this slide. So anyway, when it comes to social media networks, as for those of you who are really active when it comes to social media, all platforms are different. All platforms have their own environment, let's say. So Facebook is more about, let's say, connecting with our friends and family, as well as the social aspect of it. While LinkedIn is the professional networking platform, right? So as you can see, their message and their environment is a little different. So you need to make sure that you're tuning in to their environment. That way you can present yourself in a professional manner, okay? And like I said earlier, a lot of companies and organizations definitely look at LinkedIn first and foremost, and then they look at other social media profiles that you have, Instagram or whatever the case may be for you. And then, just make sure that you're always stay professional. All right, so let's go ahead and dive a little deeper when it comes to LinkedIn. LinkedIn, though, for those who may not know about LinkedIn, it is a professional network out there, and it helps you establish your online presence even more as the professional, as that leader in your niche, in your industry. So if you're active on LinkedIn as a college student, you maybe also be a potential candidate for that organization. Okay, because like I said, they do check it out. So they passively look at other candidates. So you need to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is top notch from the get-go, even before you speak to them. Okay, so I'm going to show you just a few resources here actually. So here are resources that I provided for you. You can take a screenshot of this right now if you're able to do so. And I actually also will have a checklist or a downloadable form for you, and I'll make sure that I'll add these links, and that way you can go ahead and research it in your own time. But these are just a few resources I found online that I think would really be of benefits for you. It's beneficial to really learn about this. So let me briefly stop sharing here for a second, because I do want to briefly show you what these resources look like, because they're really good. They're really good. So the very first one is, and I found this online as well and through linkedin.com. So this is a really good resource to know and have, and to go back and refresh your memory. So I'm going to briefly just talk about this. Again, you will have the information so you can do your research later on this one. So this is a LinkedIn profile checklist, and it tells you the essential elements that you need to build your personal brand. So they go into the photo, like I said earlier. It has to be professional, and like it says here on this form, it doesn't have to be fancy. Just use your cell phone camera in front of a plain background, right? Like wear a nice shirt and don't forget to smile. So in that regard, as you can see here, his name is David, and he has a good background. And this is what I was referring to earlier. You can go outside and just have like a background, tree backgrounds, right? And just make sure that you have good lighting and you're smiling, and then you look professional. And on the iPhone these days, if you're not familiar with all the other settings when it comes to photography features, but you can blur out the background. There is a setting in iPhone. As you can tell, I'm an Apple team, so I kind of know the features there. I don't know much about Android. I think they also have that features. I just don't know how to look that, how the process goes. But check into that feature, because that can definitely spice up a little bit of your professional headshots, right? Especially if you're just doing it your own, do yourself capacity. So here we go. The next one is headline. It tells people what you're excited about now and the cool things that you want to do in the future. This right here is the headline right here. Okay, and there's certain characters limit. I've forgotten how many characters it is, but just search it online, because I think it's like, don't quote me on this, I think it's either 75 or 55 or something like that. But I know you have limited space, so make sure that you maximize the space, but at the same time tell them who you are and what you have to offer. And there's so many examples out there on LinkedIn. You can even check out mine and see how I crafted my headline, and then go from there. And the other example is summary. This right here, I believe you can have 200 character limit. So you can definitely include a lot of information out here inside the summary. So I'll let you think about that, because you know exactly what you should be putting on there. If not, again, go to different types of LinkedIn profiles and just check out what they have, and and craft your own. Don't copy, but have an idea how it's going to look like, and that way you know how to craft, what to write for your summary. Definitely have experience Okay, it could be a part-time job that you have. It could be an internship that you have. So definitely fill this in as much as possible. And then the organizations that you're affiliated with, it could be any clubs, school, or community organizations that you have been involved in the past as well as currently. And then your education, definitely add that on there. College, high school, anything that's associated with education, as well as volunteer experience and causes. You might have been a community leader, or you might have been a volunteer at some local functions or anything like that, nonprofit. Definitely add that on there, as well as your skills and experience. I believe under skills and experience, you can have up to 50. It might change by now, but I think you can have up to 50 skills and expertise. And basically what it is just you are just you're picking up a word or two that is your skills. Okay, maybe you're a good writer, so definitely have that. Maybe you're great at social media, definitely include that. Maybe you're great at public speaking, right? Definitely include that under the skills and expertise. And then definitely have your honors and awards that you have accomplished in the past, all these achievements. Do not be shy on adding that on there, because it speaks highly. It really does. As well as important courses that you might have taken in the past that have granted you some, let's say, awards or something of that capacity. As well as projects that you're currently working on or have worked on in the past. It doesn't matter what it is. And just make sure that you briefly have some summary or description of what it is, as well as recommendations that you might have from your teachers, from your colleagues, from the organizations that you have worked in the past. So this is very, very useful. This checklist right here is very useful. So definitely go back and research through this, because this is, in my opinion, it's a phenomenal resource to have. The other ones are, let's say, the checklist. Another one is building a great student profile. So it just gives you a description of what that means. It gives you 1, 2, 3 information, and then you can read up on this and apply what you've learned. Okay, so it's this oodles and oodles of information, as you can see. So that's another great resource. And another one is this, though. It's just an article, and basically it reads 5 reasons students should be on LinkedIn. Okay, so definitely read through this and apply what you've learned, and then go from there. I'm not going to go over these examples and resources individually because it's too many. Okay, so let me go back over here. It looks like we are nearing at the end. So, all right, so as I promised, I'm going to be giving you, online tools, because for a lot of people that I work with, it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or business professional or even a student, professional student, a lot of the things that you need are these online tools that you can definitely utilize for your own, to optimizing your LinkedIn profile. So for example, you need to have a background banner or an image for your LinkedIn, and you need a tool to do that. Well, the number one go-to tool that I use is actually Canva. It's canva.com. It's canv.com. So if you got a moment right now, go ahead and screenshot this as well. That way you have it on your own phone. So Canva is basically, it helps you design documents as well as graphics and things like that. It has a drag and drop feature and professional layout, so you can design for your graphics and banners and things like that. And one thing about this Canva that I like is they have a free version as well as a paid version, meaning you can definitely use it, without having to pay. And they give you a lot of sizable templates, if you will. They already have a size for Facebook, profiles, as well as cover banner or the background banner, as well as for LinkedIn. So definitely utilize Canva because you don't really have to think about, okay, what is the measurement that I need to know for the background for LinkedIn? What is the measurement or pixel size that I need to know for Facebook banner? You don't need to do that because Canva provides that for you. So definitely use Canva in your own leisure, and then that way you can upload a simple graphic out there if you like, as well as, and I mentioned this earlier, about.me. This is an online, let's say, quote unquote website. If you don't have a website, if you don't have a blog, in addition to using LinkedIn, go ahead and go to about.me, and it is a free, they also have a free version as well as a paid version. So, but you don't need to start with a paid version for now unless you want to unlock more features. That's basically what it is. But for the free version, you can still have your own information out there. So you can have your let's say your bio, and if you crafted 150 word bio, word count, 150 word count, definitely put that up there. Basically, the bio is who you are, what do you do, what you have to offer, what makes you unique, right? And then go from there. And it also helps your online presence so others can quickly learn about who you are and what you share online, okay? And then Zoom.us. And for those who know about teleconference, about video conferencing and things like that, a lot of employers either use Zoom or GoToWebinar or other functions, other tools out there. But if you don't have one and you need to have that face-to-face conversation, because you never know, right? You never know if you're going to have an online interview or a pre-screening or whatever case may be, you can have your own Zoom account. Zoom.us is a video conferencing software, which is good for interviews and face-to-face communications, things like that. And they also have a free version, but I think on the free version they only allow you to have either 30 minutes or 45 minutes worth of airtime, let's say, and then you can't do more than 45 minutes. You can if you have the paid versions, but you don't really need it for something that's quick, a quick interview before you even step into the organization's building and have that face-to-face conversation. Okay? All right, so hopefully those will be useful for you. Again, my name is Ires Alliston. I provided you my, my website as well as an address for email address for you to contact me if you need to, as well as my social media profiles out there on Facebook, LinkedIn, and whatnot. You can just type in my name and then go from there. So, all right, everyone, I hope this is helpful for you. I truly enjoyed it, and thank you so much for the opportunity.